Did this Diddy joke go too far at last night's Golden Globes? Also, we have the date now where the feds plan to finally reveal Diddy's co-conspirators. And explosive new claims are also coming from a brand new Diddy documentary. We got the details. Happy New Year. Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Diddygate coverage. We have not stopped. We won't stop. And we have a bunch of new claims coming in, a new date. But first, I want to start with the most current news. Last night was the Golden Globe Awards, and host Nikki Glaser was condemned by many online for a gross Diddy joke in her opening monologue. I got to say, overall, I was more impressed than I expected to be. She really walked the line of roast and tribute, where she was making fun of people, but not going too far, which some people think Ricky Gervais did. I loved Ricky Gervais the best because he really just called out the disgustingness that is Hollywood. But Nikki, I think, did it a little bit more deftly. She was more careful while still having fun with everybody in the room. She could have definitely gone harder, and I would have liked that she did, but I understand why she didn't. She wants to work in this town. She's not as rich as Ricky Gervais. She can't afford to just tell everybody off. But here is the bit around Diddy, and I want to get your thoughts if you missed it. Heroes, sit up around Zendaya.
You were
Zendaya, she was
incredible in Dune. Oh my God, I woke up for all of your scenes. You were so good.
I love that even she's embarrassed to laugh at the joke. When the celebrity is roasted slightly enough that even they want to joke, I woke up for all your scenes in Dune 2. It's just a nice little backhanded compliment, and for many thought Dune was boring.
And Challengers Girl, oh my God, it was so good. I mean, that movie was more sexually charged than Diddy's credit card. I mean, seriously. Oh, no, I know.
There was a lot of react, like, uh-oh, what do we do? And it's always interesting to see how people react in Hollywood to this Diddy topic.
Sorry, I'm upset too. The after party's not going to be as good this year, but we have to move on. I know what Stanley Tucci Freak Off just doesn't have the same ring to it, but
That face kind of says it all.
No baby oil this year, just lots of olive oil, okay?
Look, I found that funny because it's a Stanley Tucci joke. It's a Stanley Tucci joke. He does cooking all the time. He does cooking with Stanley Tucci. He's like the whole thing. He's like Italian olive oil. That was the joke. I didn't find it as offensive. Personally, I think everything can be jokeable. You got to try to find the laughs in it, or else it's just too depressing of a world. I mean, she is calling out, the parties aren't as good, which I think a lot of people in Hollywood are starting to feel like, oh crap, we can't have as much fun at these parties anymore because we might be called out. Now, that doesn't mean they were going as far as Diddy was going, but I do think this joke walked that line where I can see why some would be offended. But honestly, I think she could have gone even harder. I would have enjoyed that more. Now, actual news regarding Diddy. This is a big one. So the feds have now made their plan, revealed their plan, at least. It's all part of this letter. This is sort of the coming in from the Homeland Security, et cetera, people fighting against Diddy. A lot of pretrial motions and things that are said in here. A lot of it's important, but I want to focus on one part of it here. Let me get this in. This is submitted by both parties, actually. There's this letter coming in. Here it is. I want to focus on the Enterprise letter. Here it is, guys. Sorry, they're wrong. Let's focus on this letter. So what this Enterprise letter actually is. Government position. Consistent with the practice of the district, the government proposes filing an enterprise letter, which will be set out the specific acts and conduct underlying the racketeering conspiracy changed in the indictment approximately 8 weeks in advance of trial, March 7th. That's the date. With such a schedule, the enterprise letter will provide more particular notice of the specific objects of the charged racketeering conspiracy, including, to the extent possible, the dates, times, places, and participants for each racketeering act. Will incorporate the court's rulings on pretrial motions and will fully reflect the specific conduct that will be at issue at trial with respect to count 1. Defense counsel's proposal that the enterprise be letter filed prior to pretrial motions is contrary to the practice of this district and efficient, given that the pretrial motions could impact the substance of the letter. The defendant's citation to the Reindeer case is unavailing. And Reindeer was arrested on this date, blah, 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 on March 2018. His trial commenced on June 2029, a span of 15 months. By contrast, in this case, the defendant was arrested 2024, and his trial was set is the defendant's insistence for May 2025, a span of fewer than 8 months. The defendant is trying to have his cake and eat it too, by insisting on a speedy trial, but also insisting on deadlines set in cases with much longer timelines. Second, even if the longer lifespan of the Reindeer case, the Enterprise letter in that case was due after the submission of pretrial motions. So again, what they're trying to say, and this is, and the government's right, you want your speedy trial, fine, but we still get our time to do it the way that we're allowed to legally, and you don't get to have it early just because you're doing a speedy trial. He is trying to have his cake and eat it too. The problems with having a speedy trial is means he gets less time too, and they get to have the time they're allowed, and then he's going to have limited time. That's all sort of the blessing and a curse of a speedy trial. And they're making it clear, like, look, even in the Keith Raniere case, that Axiom cult case, he got it after the submission, so that was the argument. Now, Diddy's defense, Mr. Combs has a significant disadvantage. Defense counsel still does not understand the contours of the government's allegations, including who the government even considers a victim, and have repeatedly asked for assistance from the government. Indeed, despite the government's statements to the court during the December 18th conference, government recently confirmed that it continues to oppose the defense's requests for information, including identification of alleged victims, unless and until the government is required to make trial disclosures. The defense will remain ignorant of the evidence it is required to meet. The result will be fundamentally flawed trial. And so that's what they're trying to argue. This isn't fair, Judge. It's not fair. We didn't get enough time. Whereas obviously the government's saying nonsense. You're getting the allowed time. We're allowed to have as much up until this time period. Here it is set in motion. You'll have it, and you'll have 2 months to prepare with all the specifics. Honestly, is that enough time? Is that how this should be? I mean, I look, speedy trial is a real thing that he deserves, to not be stuck and rot in prison forever. I know some of you want him to. I get it. But we all have due process, and we should have the right to a fair trial, and to have it quickly. How quickly is quickly? Is the government waiting to the very end to sort of get that advantage? Clearly. Are they allowed to do it? That's the question. Or will that help cause a mistrial later where he didn't have a fair trial? We will see. I'm sure he's going to claim that no matter what. But this gives us that date, at least. March 7th is when the government is intending to finally hand over all the information. So mark your calendars. That's an important one, because that's when we'll finally start getting some more details about this from their side, because they're holding on their cards very tight. Now, more has come out. Some new guests and people mentioned in a new Peacock documentary, explosive claims. Here's a quick clip from that documentary.
I've been Sean for quite a while, and I've captured a lot of moments.
So again, they claim exclusive footage here. I haven't seen a lot of this stuff, so I don't know. These are bodyguards and people. I saw Gene Deal in there. A lot of their faces I haven't recognized.
Anytime the studio or any rooms is red, it's making love.
Or X, as you can tell what he's about to say there. So that this is the accusation now, that it's, if anytime you saw the red room, that's what was happening. And some of them girls in that room, for sure, they were, you can read it yourself right there on screen. Yeah, that's problematic, man. And it's weird because it says, I have seen this red theme a lot, the love theme. Even recently, Little Rod's lawsuit had photos and talked about this. So the red theme, I guess, was this sort of unwritten rule of, yep, this is when the freak off starts if it's in a red light. Who knows? More people
become an alleged monster.
This is a part of the new Peacock documentary.
Fun to stay out of jail too.
We tell you how to have fun, how to stay out of jail too. Diddy, the making of a bad boy, coming to Peacock, I guess, January 14th. We will keep you privy to that. Obviously, watch it and keep you updated. Ironically, Nikki Glaser made a pretty good Peacock joke at the Golden Globes as well. Eddie Redmayne is now an investigator. No one can find him because he's on Peacock. Does anyone have Peacock? I'm curious. Anybody actually paying for Peacock? Are you going to go subscribe to Peacock for this? Let me know. It's not we're in a world where I'm grateful. So many of you guys signed up to watch my Meghan and Harry documentary. Thank you. You still can over on Patreon. Those Patreon funds are going so I can do more projects like this, honestly. And I'd love to do a Diddy doc, but it's expensive. These people do want money to do these interviews, or at least give their footage and get exclusives. And I can understand where they're coming from. Everyone's got to get their bag. But I'd love to be able to do this. I'm just curious. Did you guys sign up for Peacock? Is there enough there? And have you considered signing up for our Patreon? You can do it. I hope to have some more documentaries in the works throughout this year. We have another Harry and Meghan one coming out, but we all are working on a Jackson one for later in the year as well. But we are trying to shop that around so we can get to a streamer to see if they'll just buy them from us. That obviously helps us even more. But Curious what you think. Are you going to watch this? Are you excited for that? Do you think are you getting fatigue of this case? Are you just waiting for the court to start, the trial to start rather? Let me know your thoughts down below. And was that joke too far? Do you agree with some of the critics here that this was too gross? I want to hear your comments down below. Before you comment, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts, smash that like button, and then comment on your thoughts down below. And Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. Popcorn Planet's not going anywhere. We got a lot of updates and a lot of videos for you, so stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching.